Greetings, metaphysicians. This is episode 114, The Secret Power of Gratitude. And many of you understand that gratitude is indeed a superpower, but so many people on the planet do not. And this episode is for them. Please enjoy it.
You are listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical podcast. I'm your host, Renata Maniaci, here to remind you that you are a divine spiritual light being having a temporary human experience in a human body here on lovely planet Earth. Enjoy it. This is season 7, Heaven on Earth, and this is episode 114, The Secret Power of Gratitude. And before we jump right into the episode, I want to say thank you to not only all the listeners who indulge in this podcast. This has been going on for about 4.5 years. I started just about 4.5 years ago. And the entire time I have had a series of patrons, of angel donors that have helped me to produce this podcast and allowed this production to continue. And sometimes people join for a few weeks, a few months, and several people have been with me the whole time. And I'm super, super grateful for that because it's really enabled me to continue the podcast. And I wanted to express my thanks and my gratitude for those particular people by giving them a shout out right now. So for all of the past, present, and future angel donors to the podcast, I thank you. And for all of our current patrons, thank you so much to Dana, Paula, Sophia, Nancy, Claire, Frida, Susan, Jessica, Jonathan, Sandy, Jen, Peggy, Ryan, Heather, Georgia, Vicky, Josephine, Nevin, Yuta, Larissa, Melanie, Kim S., another Kim S., Aisha, Debbie, Lynn, Guy, Crystal, Julia, and Zebulon. Thank you so much for choosing to be an active part of this community, and please know how deeply grateful I am for you. Let's move right into this episode on the secret power of gratitude. Are you ready? Let's get meta. Masters and angels, I request your presence, assistance, guidance, and support. I invoke the light of the divine within me. I am a clear and perfect channel. Light is my guide. Highest possible good, and only good is allowed. Please let me know the truth, speak the truth, become the truth, and be the truth. And let this episode reach whoever needs to hear it. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. Bless creation. I had several really beautiful moments of gratitude today. And it was kicked off at my new moon online event. And this is the new moon right before Thanksgiving 2022. I did a card pull and it was unexpectedly profound. And by unexpectedly, I mean the cards are always spot on. And I'm not a huge card puller, but I have gotten in the habit of doing that on new moons. And I let the questions just drop in. I asked my guides and angels, what should the questions be? And then I pull the card. And the middle question was, what do we need to know about this moon cycle? And I got a card that I had never pulled before, but I got it upside down, which has a different meaning. The card was by the book, and I got it upside down, which means you read the protection message. And it basically said, you are ready for a revolution in consciousness. It wasn't just speaking to me personally, it was answering the question about what this next moon cycle will bring. And I read through the rest of it and I got choked up. You know that phrase, I got choked up? Like when you're starting to cry. I've know the phrase. I maybe have used it before, but I've never actually felt that happen to me before today. And sometimes when I'm working with someone one-on-one or doing a live online group event like this morning, or sometimes when I'm recording a podcast episode, I will feel something and know something so intensely that it brings tears to my eyes. Actually, it most often happens when I'm not doing anything, when I'm just alone and having some kind of realization. And I'm sure many of you have had this experience where your eyes start to water when something true is stated, or you hear that, or you feel something, and you well up or choke up on some capacity to feel some form of truth. This is a physical reaction to divinity. This is a physical reaction which shows you and allows you to feel what truth feels like, because it's an involuntary thing. Many of you know what I'm talking about, but this is when you hear somebody say something or you watch something. It's just when you hear or experience, we'll say experience truth on some level, sometimes that is the physical reaction, the human body's physical reaction to truth. And it was so powerful today that I actually couldn't speak for several moments. And I'm on, YouTube Live or whatever doing this. And it's fine. I just felt into it. But the whole event was on gratitude and acknowledging that was the intention. And some really beautiful things dropped in from the angels. They kept showing me a faucet that was dripping, just dripping. And they said that is what gratitude is currently like on the planet. But it's not even at half capacity of what it could be if we metaphorically turned the faucet all the way on and let the water rush out, let the gratitude rush out. And they came in and they said, gratitude is so many things that humans do not understand yet on this planet. And some people get it. Some people get it inherently and are very grateful people, thankful people, and have mastered this law. It's a law, the law of gratitude. And it's a currency. It's so many things. One thing that it is it's a currency. It's a certain vibration. It is a gift. It is something that opens doors to more cosmic abundance. And if people knew the secret, I don't know that it's a secret. It seems to be, because if everyone knew this truth about gratitude, you would think that everyone would be turning the tap all the way on. But it is this infinity type of flow and vibration that once you get going and give and give and give gratitude and thankfulness for the things that you have in your life, it's like you become more deserving to receive more. And we've talked about this previously on the podcast. I know that I've mentioned how gratitude is so important, especially when thanking your angels, your guides, for their help and their information and assistance and support and anything, because that is their payment. I've joked that they don't take Bitcoin or Venmo, they take gratitude. But it actually goes deeper than just that. It's a path towards your own evolution. There's many different threads that weave the tapestry of your own evolution and ascension. And gratitude, as you raise in your level of consciousness, needs to figure heavily in that tapestry. It's literally a building block for your own evolution. And that was the first card that was pulled in our new moon event today, the question that came through is, what do we need to know about gratitude? And the card I pulled was building blocks, which is pretty self-explanatory. And it went on to say that there's a foundation. You need to build a strong foundation, and all this stuff about the card being important in having a strong foundation. And the question was about gratitude. And so it's literally a building block on the road to your ascension, to my ascension. My tap is not completely open when it comes to gratitude right now. I think it's maybe only slightly above the drip image they showed me. And we addressed this in the event as well. One of the questions that I posed is, what are the blocks preventing us from accessing our full energy of gratitude? And a lot came through. I was really surprised at how many different things came through, mostly from the angels. They talked about ego getting in the way of gratitude. They talked about being busy and just forgetting to be grateful because we have so many things to do in this life, and the illusion of time and how that gets in the way of giving gratitude because we don't think we have time to do that. Not having awareness of the things that we can and should be and give gratitude for. Entitlement, having the sense that everything that you are receiving is something that you should be receiving, and therefore that prevents or blocks you from feeling gratitude. A sense of being a victim. If you think that the world is not for you and that everything is happening to you, that vibration is very difficult to give and feel any gratitude or thankfulness. Being in pain, any kind of pain, physical, emotional pain, mental pain. Pain is a big wall to gratitude, whatever kind of pain it is. Fear is a big block that holds gratitude at bay. And so all of these different blocks, these different vibrations of things that are preventing us from turning that tap fully on, that gratitude tap fully on, came in. And it was incredibly useful to see all these different ways why we are not just giving thanks all of the freaking time for everything. And I'm guilty of this just as the next person. And of course, we're thinking about it now because we're in the season of Thanksgiving, at least in the United States. But they also showed me an image of the tap being fully on and this just huge shower of cosmic gifts that is allowed to come down and allowed to be presented in your life in all different ways. When we can fully experience and embody gratitude. It's like the image that they're showing me is when somebody wins the Super Bowl and they have both sets of balloons. That doesn't matter, but the balloons are ready to be let go of the net, and fall down onto the field. It's like that. Those balloons are all gifts, and they can be physical gifts, prosperity, material, financial gifts, health gifts, relationship gifts, career gifts, things that are unexpected and that you're not necessarily even asking for, just little boons, all kinds of things on all levels. And they're just hanging there in the net, just waiting to be let down. It's like there's a door and gratitude is the key that unlocks it. And behind the door are all of these beautiful things that we get to deserve when we know how to properly embody gratitude. But a lot of us have a very small gratitude key that only turns the lock an eighth of the way. And so a few gifts might slip out underneath the space between the door and the floor. But the whole point is there is so much that can be unlocked. if we are able to allow the flow of gratitude to be fully turned on, fully tapped into, fully accessed. And to do that, you need to be aware of what's around you and what you have. And there are so many different things that get in the way of us seeing what we have and getting in the way of our time. And it's not necessarily worked into our culture. It is in some families. Some people grow up with a really beautiful tradition of giving thanks, maybe as you're eating with your family, maybe as you're falling asleep, maybe if you have some form of religious community, maybe it's built in that way. But so many people do not have that. And so it's not a knee-jerk reaction. It's not second nature. It's not coming and flowing through easily. But they're saying that it needs to become as easy as breathing, as ready as breathing, and that it's like anything else that you do and practice often. It becomes easier and you become better at it, and you deserve more because you are appreciating this creation. This creation. Everything around you is part of this divine creation, even if it was constructed by humans, because humans are part of the divine creation. And when you can give thanks for creation, you are blessing creation. You're giving gratitude to creation. You are thanking creation. And that trips the return loop that then you get to experience and benefit from. It's this ongoing kind of, you can see it as an infinity loop. You give gratitude, you get more. You give gratitude, you get this boon. You give gratitude, you're elevated in this way. You give gratitude, you raise in your level of consciousness. It is a form of blessing creation, and it is a deep and true law. It's a universal law. At least, I don't know if that's the exact language, but that's what's coming through. Maybe not everyone would call it that, but it's so ingrained in the fabric of this creation, not just Earth, but creation in general. The solar system, the universe, all the space in between, everything. It's a frequency, it's a vibration. And when we can tap into that, they're just saying, just see what happens. Tap into it and just see what happens. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to be grateful and to dig deeper than maybe surface level gratitude. It's easy to be grateful for my family and my friends and my home and my car and my health. But what else can I be grateful for? What else could enter the realm of my experience that's already there that I can now open up enough to recognize? Can I be grateful for the air I'm breathing? Can I be grateful for the lessons I'm learning? Can I be grateful for the people in my life that trigger me the most? Because on some level, they're showing me something that needs to change within myself. Can I be grateful for the things that are challenging or difficult or seemingly unnecessary and tiresome? And maybe we're not there yet. Maybe we just stick to the things that are easier to start with, being thankful for. Thankful that I got to eat one of my favorite meals. Thankful that I got to go on a walk with my friends. Thankful that it was 60 degrees out today instead of 30. Thankful that it was not raining. Thankful that anything. Why not? Why not try to turn the tap fully on and see what happens, like they say. See what happens. 'Tis the season. It's something that I am going to make prayer requests for help with, because it's something that I would like to embody more and bring more to the forefront of my life. And I'm really, truly grateful about how that all came in today. And then I went on from this morning and had a beautiful, beautiful day filled with so much love around me, within me, from friends, from family. I get the impression that gratitude can almost make people, I don't know if fearful is the right word, but apprehensive to really, really feel into it because it's overwhelming. It can be incredibly overwhelming when you can really sink into a true feeling of gratitude, like I experienced this morning. I couldn't speak. And maybe we're just, on some level, weary of being vulnerable, weary of going into a depth of feeling that might feel uncomfortable. But the expansion that happens or can happen in your heart, it's its own natural high. With just the heart expansion and the bliss that I experienced only today, I don't know why anyone would need to do any kind of drug or have any kind of substance to make themselves feel amazing. When you can tap into gratitude, something that's fairly simple. I mean, tap into it. But the feeling that you can get when you really get in there and allow that gratitude to fill your heart and then fill your whole body and then just kind of overtake you and you let yourself go with that feeling, that is a natural high that you created without any outside thing. And it unlocks this access to more divine and cosmic gifts. This is a truth. This is a truth that is absolutely there and accessible and available to everyone, to all of us, the world over. So I am going to say a few requests now for myself, but I'll say them for everyone because they're not going to hurt, to help us to become more aware of being the energy, the experience of being grateful. Masters and angels, I request that you help all of us to deeply experience gratitude and thankfulness every single day. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. And even as I say that, I end my request, as you know and can hear, thank you with gratitude and full faith. And I realized today, how much do I actually mean those words when I say them? How much am I 100% feeling gratitude and full faith when I must say those words 30, 50, 100 times a day some days if I'm making lots of prayer requests and asking help of the angels, which I do a lot. It's part of my life. But how often am I feeling 100% the depth of those words? How much am I actually meaning thank you with gratitude and full faith? It's not always 100%. And I'm wary to even look into what the percentage of depth and feeling I put behind those words every time I say it, because it feels automatic. It feels mechanic sometimes, because it's a formula, and it's a formula that works. So try it out. But the depth that I can actually bring my awareness to when I say those words is more than it has been. So that's something that I get to work on. Masters and angels, please help us all to have deep and fulfilling experiences of gratitude within the next 30 hours. Thank you with gratitude and full faith. And why put a time limit on it? When you say these prayer requests, it doesn't work. You can't just say one thing and say for the rest of my life or for the rest of this year. It's not how it works, because part of receiving is asking for what you need at that time, in that moment. So a lot of my requests are for the next 30 hours. I say 30 hours because that just works for me. And it gives me a little window instead of saying 24 hours. It's just a little pro tip if you want to try using that, to put a time limit on it and then see, because you can't expect to say, please show me please allow me to experience fully, deeply the depths of gratitude for the rest of my life. You have to ask for it when you need it and when you want to experience it. So that's a little tip that you can try. But it's my full intention to give this a try, because I want to see what happens. They're saying, wait and see, do it and see what happens. So I want to see what happens. I can see in my mind's eye what they're showing me. There's all of these literally cosmic gifts ready to be released, as though you're releasing the balloons from the net. I want to see what happens. So I'm going to try it. And maybe you should too. let's give gratitude a try, because this is the truth about gratitude. It's the whole untapped vein that we have yet to fully experience as a race, as a humanity on this planet. I would like to see what the planet looks like when we can vibrate to the frequency of gratitude with the tap fully on. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Bonus content is going to be access to everyone on my Patreon community to the gratitude new moon event that I did. And you can find that at patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Thank you so much for being part of this and for listening. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up and Awaken production and is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. If you are ready to raise your vibration, you might enjoy our free Let's Get Meta Master Clearing. To receive the Master Clearing or to learn more about the podcast, visit letsgetmeta.com. We like to share metaphysical stories and answer spiritual questions on the podcast. If you have a metaphysical experience you would like to share or have a spiritual question you would like to have answered, please send an email to info@letsgetmeta.com. The Let's Get Meta podcast is inspired by angels and supported by angels. If you would like to be an angel donor to the podcast, visit patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.